in the raw. RK's Guyana Free Media, and I'm your friend, your brother, Hajji, Dr. Roshan Khan, recording and commenting somewhere in the Caribbean. Very blessed. Good morning, friends and family, brothers and sisters. This is a recording being done on an article of the Thursday edition of July 14th of the Kaicho News, having to do with more money causing inflation. And I will show you the article. It's taken from the Kaicho News. Bigger share of oil money now not a good thing. Family, my view, my take is that it's true when people get too much of money, they, one, become lazy. Some people do not know how to invest their extra money, and sometimes spend it on wrong things. However, the fact is we can find alternative good measures to help the people. One, we can follow a Motley technique of erasing taxes for 6 months to a year so that people have more disposable income. And two, we could try to motivate and encourage them to be self-sufficient. Now, this thing of inflation, here in the article, the former president and our beloved divine Dr. JAGDEO is going to talk about inflation. So what really is inflation? The ordinary common man, woman, citizen do not understand what is inflation. So I want to give you a little good idea of what is inflation. In economics, inflation is a general increase in the cost of goods and services in an economy. So cost of goods, service, increase, everything. When the price level increases, fewer goods or services can be bought. A reduction in purchasing power, so to say. Falling purchase power of money, so to say. So more money is not useful. In other words, I'm going to refer to as more paper money is not useful. But certain things can be done, like what I quoted about Mayor Motley. Our government, we must understand, gave out several and many incentives, cash grants, took away the prices of taxes on fuel. But the price of fuel keep going up and not enough money to purchase it. So it's a general cost of living increase, and the money that you have is not sufficient to cater for this cause. Of course, even if they have enough money, some people will always quarrel. So this is giving you my take and the general idea as to what inflation is all about. But there is also cases where there's plenty printed paper money without value, and that printed paper money cannot be used to even buy the same items because the prices will go up. You get more printed paper money and the prices will go up. So now let's go to Excellency former President Dr. JAGDEO's contention and discussion on this important topic. bigger share of oil money now is not a good thing. But really, before I go to that, and I'll read snippets of it, it's a kind of a long article, I wish to say, ladies and gentlemen, so if we raise and we fight to get a better share of oil money, and we get it, and bring it into the immediate paper-rolling dollar economy, it will possibly cause inflation. Too much paper money into the economy and the prices of the material don't drop. Business people have a way when they have to pay extra money or increase in salaries, they raise their prices. So really the workers do not get an increase, so to say. It looks as if they're getting money, but it is paper-colored, printed money. I want to get that into your hearts and head. Cost of living raises, your money cannot buy the same thing, and so on. And so we are fighting the government, particularly President JAGDEO, to find means to renegotiate the contract. So if getting more money, the president is saying they will be formed with the oil companies and they will renegotiate and they will have new negotiations into the future for new companies and new drillings and so on, why do that? If getting more money is not a good thing in the economy, then why is President that bigger share of oil money now not a good thing? My question to also Mr. Vice President is why, and I speak politely out of respect to everyone, why don't we give them a reduction in the payment to us? If we are so concerned about our economy, let us take less than 2% royalty. Let us not take any royalty at all. Let us not take our share of the lifts of oil. Let us take maybe once every 3 lifts. So we get less money for our economy, Dr. BHARRAT JAGDEO, a man that I respect. But I disagree with you here. And I, friends and family, brothers and sisters, always like to be independent and also uncontrolled by any government in power. I must maintain my sanity. So let's go now to the points Dr. JAGDEO is raising, and then I'll give you more of my viewpoints. And I will disagree with Dr. JAGDEO and agree as I see fit. And then also, in the raw, your friend and your brother, Hajji, Dr. Roshan will disagree when he has to disagree. And I am no controlled personality or puppet of any government in power. This is me. Now let's read. We can't, you see, he's saying, we can't spend it all, it becomes inflationary. Right away, my view is, so the ExxonMobil has all the money they're making, they can't spend it all, so it's not inflation for them. My take is, so many gold mines operating in Guyana, we're getting 5 plus 3 royalty percent, that's 8%. So why don't we also don't take royalty for our gold and any mineral resources, manganese and so, because it will bring too much money in the economy and we'll have inflation. Mr. JAGDEO, I humbly and politely, sir, disagree with you. Now, we are drilling for gold, our own local gold miners. We are selling gold to exterior exporters, international exporters, purchasers, local. But do we have a gold reserve? I know we have money reserve, US reserve. The US dollars are being stored in the United States of America. God forbid we never have a problem with the United States of America and the US put a sanction or on a hold on our monies. That is usually done when there are problems with nations and governments and countries they hold the people's money. I hope that does not happen here. Now, so if we get more money, we can spend it all. Do we really need to spend it, Dr. Jagdeo? And who say that we can't spend it, Dr. Jagdeo? We can bring in modern trains from India or China by the boot system or by us owning the system with proper guarantees. India is known to make some of the finest train systems. I saw the Chinese one that floats, they call the maglev, on air. Guyana needs a reliable, fantastic, modern train system throughout the country. Forbes Burnham did a Guyana a terrible disservice. So spend the money on trains. So you're saying we can't spend it all. So it becomes inflationary. Who say we can't spend it? It can be spent not only on giving people money or handouts. I do not believe in handouts. But give them the opportunity to live and to make and encourage. And yes, you're educating, but I disagree, sir. Now let's go to the article itself. The Vice President, BHARRAT JAGDEO, who is spearheading the development of Guyana's oil and gas industry, believes that calls to halt the developments at the present in order for the country to realize a larger share of its oil revenues sooner would not benefit the country. Well, some people are asking, stop the oil production, negotiate, get more money, and so on. In the raw Arcades Guyana Free Media, he in fact argues this could introduce added inflationary pressures in the country's domestic economy. Jagdeo was at the time addressing guests at the annual Guyana Manufacturing and Services Association dinner held Tuesday night at the Ramada Princess Hotel. Now, I was making a point a bit earlier about drilling for gold, gold companies coming in and so on. So what they do with this gold, ladies and gentlemen, the bigger countries, they buy them with their excess and extra money. Canada and the United States, or Russia has one of the biggest reserves. The United Kingdom has one of the world's largest reserves from since historic times when they were dealing with slaves, the European slaves, and bleeding humanity and their countries to enrich themselves. So why can't we, Dr. Jagdeo, please argue with me, tell me, why can't we take the money that we can get in renegotiating or demanding and buy gold and create reserves, our own gold reserves? And most people hold their gold reserves in the United States of America. I would say let us hold our gold reserves in our Bank of Guyana, because I am very concerned about if something happens in the future with a future government, all our money being held up in the United States of America and all our gold. But let us, whatever it is, I'm no politician, and I'm a friend and a lover of the United States, and they do these things for their own benefits, their own security, and so on. So I'm not attacking or criticizing them. I'm talking just about long-term preservation. So friends and families, why we can't take what will appear to be excess money and buy gold and store them, and buy more US and store them accordingly for future generations to enjoy? Or don't drill for more gold, because we're drilling for oil and we are emptying our land of resources. So in time, our people, our children will curse us, Dr. Jagdeo, that we did not think of them. And I go back to the article. He was asked whether capping other industries in Guyana would be a good idea since we have all this money from oil, and that is my point. stopping gold production to that level with these humongous monstrosities of gold mining companies that care only about themselves, that will bring in Marriott to feed them, and their upper echelon of classes, and our Guyanese people would be fed the lowest kind of food that is known as we have seen in the past and currently with gold mining corporations and industries in this country. I go back to the article. ESSO Exploration and Production Guyana Limited, along with their partners in the Stabroek Block, currently operate 2 producing mine fields. I know that, so I'm going to jump on that. ExxonMobil has already secured the relevant permissions to develop 2 more projects in Payara and Yellowtail fields to be produced using the Prosperity and One Guyana FPSOs. Those are the boats or the ships, the FPSOs that will transport the ship, right? The oil, friends and family, ladies and gentlemen. And they're making the biggest in history because they want to drain us of our oil. So my point, ladies and gentlemen, is that we should take our money, renegotiate the PNC APNU, the AFC Ramjatan, because they needed money, sold us out. He has admitted, and I applaud Ramjatan for that. And this is in the raw. He sold us out. He sold you, the people of Ramjatan, sold you people out as a puppet, as a tool of the PNC, of the APNU, ladies and gentlemen. The PNC is not my enemy. I disagree with the leaders now, but the PNC was always my friend. Friends and family, brothers and sisters, since Hugh Desmond Hoyt. But the PNC has gone down the ladder of perdition, and Ramjatan has betrayed us. According to the Vice President, so many people are saying, why you are going to license, why would the government license any more FPSOs, right? Floating production, petroleum equipment, machinery, or whatever. Why would the government license any new FPSO? So don't we cap the number there so that we can get a faster flow of larger sums of money into the sovereign wealth fund? And that's another point, because the sovereign wealth fund was quickly created by this government, which needs to be applauded. The last government was only trying, they wanted the money real bad, ask Ranjatan. And they were only interested in putting the money in their hands and their friends. To this end, JAGDEO noted that if you cap that, you will pay back for the 4 FPSO faster, and then the government share grows. He argued nonetheless that in such a situation, what does that do? And is that the best thing to do? Because if the money comes in, we can't spend it all. So why spend it all? Purchase more American gold reserves. Mr. President, it doesn't sound well, VP JAGDEO. So if the money comes in, we can't spend it all, but we can buy trains, all right? And we can set up an airline industry. We don't have to spend to Pilawi. You know what's Pilawi? Or Chati in Hindi language. Pilawi, you eat till your belly bus. You eat like a beast. Or you spend a nonsensical object. Mr. JAGDEO, I disagree with you, sir. I'm saying firmly, and I always try to be polite, I'm trying to be as delicate as I possible, that the money can be positively spent to develop this country. Can be built, used to build houses to help our poorest classes of society, or to give an incentive to people who are building new brand houses. So I disagree we can't spend it all. We can spend it. We can put in a train service so fast you won't believe. China and BHARRAT, India are there. As such, he pointed, it comes inflationary. So you got too much money, ladies and gentlemen, and the cost of services drop. So too much money without power. I disagree, sir. I disagree, sir. According to Vice President JAGDEO, if we don't keep a steady stream of investments in the oil and gas sector to open up the reserves, to prove it, and to take it out as quickly as possible before net zero kicks in, and the demand goes down, then we will run out of momentum. And I agree with him there. Because oil is in demand. Why slow it down? But then you're going to get more money, Mr. President, Mr. VP. More paper money will come in. So buy gold reserves. Buy gold reserves. Buy more U.S. reserves for the economy. Build roads and buses. Set up the best electrical system. And to put money more in people's pocket, finance the water system for the best, and stop bleeding the people, especially when it comes near to election time. I will tell you a little secret. In 2015, the PNC went on a campaign just before the election, the APNO, and the guy told me, when I questioned him after the elections, that I said, boy, you all did this in order to give the now opposition to lose the election when they were in power. That's the PPPC. And the man laughed. He technically said, yes, that was one of the reasons they were cutting off people just before election when the PPP was in power. Because those places were operated by APNO, PNC, AFC henchmen. This is and the PNC is not my enemy, huh? I want to make that clear. But it's a political tact that they used. So use those techniques before the elections or near to the elections to drop the cost of water. Give the people free water for 6 months. Take the extra money and put it to GWI. Or even 3 months. Reduce the cost of electricity using the extra money, Dr. JAGDEO. I know you'll come up with some economic kind of a foreign language for people who don't know the language of economics, or some people know the language of Marxism and Leninism. Anyhow, qualifying his position further, the Vice President drew reference to the African continent, saying, look at what happened in Ghana. And they had a spurt of activities that end up producing a bit and now massive decline. Well, I'll tell you what. I agree, extract as much as we can extract. So what are you saying we can't negotiate for more money? You're saying extract as much as we can now. And then you're saying too much money. So extract and give it free. Because it'll bring economy and money into the economy. I beg your pardon, ladies and gentlemen. Extract for free, give it away, man. Or take the money, renegotiate, and let us get more money or a bigger share of oil for our economy and our people, VP JAGDEO. Now, let me skip a few parts there. Under the Production Sharing Agreement, PSA, with EEPGL, that's ExxonMobil, and their partners, the oil companies are able to recover up to 75% of the gross monthly of oil in order to pay overhead expenses, including the payments for the development. Several analysts have argued that the 75% arrangement leads to the lopsided arrangement, coupled with the fact that the oil companies have already discovered in excess of 11 billion barrels of recoverable crude oil. There are now plans to have at least 10 FPSOs, as those huge tankers to transport, after 2027. The argument is that with all of the development costs paid off, it would mean less expense for the oil operations, and as such, more profit to be split theoretically, increasing Guyana's share. People are saying that, and that is so, friends and family. That is so. We will get more money because the expenses are being paid off, and we have to stand some of those expenses. Director of Financial Analyst for the Institute for Energy Economics and Financial Analysis, IEEFA, Tom Sanzillo, had already expressed the view if the government fails to change the deal, it would have failed the people of Guyana. So, when the cost is reduced, we must be able to make more money. And Sanzillo is saying exact same thing. He said bluntly, Guyana may never see its fair share of earnings from its oil blocks, and as such, press the government to open up its books in order for the people to be able to determine the state of affairs according to. With this in mind, he noted that the regular announcement made of new discoveries that are being seen as a positive thing. According to Sanzillo, however, under the present arrangement, every time he sees an announcement of a new discovery, to him, that just means the mountain of debt will pile up before Guyana can get more earnings from its oil fields. And reminded that with US $75 billion to develop what is already planned, that would take until 2070 to pay back. With this in mind, Sanzillo said, our concern is Guyana will never see the revenues it has, what? It was promised. So I'm saying, in the raw, remember, I'm reading, recording, I'm traveling. So, in the raw, RK is Guyana Free Media. I'm saying, let's get the money with Dr. JAGDEO. I think something is not right here. Yes, I'm not an economist, but renegotiate that program of our percentage. That we want more money, and let us put things in place to develop our country. Let us build a modern train system throughout the country, and even in the city of Georgetown, even an underground partial system, or above ground that I saw, small and beautiful, that's circulating the capital of the Netherlands. We want more money for our oil, and for our people, and for our country. Your friend, your brother, me, Hajji, Dr. Roshan can, in the raw, somewhere in the Caribbean, saying thank you, and farewell.